Hello everybody, welcome to my stream. Welcome to our first official stream for our new fundraiser for medical aid for Palestinians. Hi B, welcome. The music does slap, this game is beautiful. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Hell yeah. So as you can see from the progress bar, we launched our fundraiser page on Wednesday with the goal of raising £300 by the end of November. And the people of gaming Twitter smashed that goal and then some within about 2 hours. So now we're pushing for bigger goals. Our first goal is £1,000, and we will continue raising money until the 30th of November. We've got a series of streams planned. You can see the schedule on our Twitter or on our Twitch channel. It should all be scheduled on there. I've also got ads turned down as infrequent as possible. Thank you for the resub, Evelyn. Thank you again for the resub, Charlotte. Free Palestine. Oh, we have a hype train already. Oh my gosh. As much as I would love to encourage the hype train, I would much rather that the money went to the fundraiser itself rather than to our Twitch channel, but thank you very much. Yeah, today we're going to be continuing our Let's Play of the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood, as usual. And at some point during the stream today, we're going to be doing a giveaway for 5 codes for a game called Splatter, which we were very kindly donated. Thank you for the resub, Ferris! Again, Twitch doesn't like the Palestine flag emoji, so it just says Free Palestine. So, for those of you who weren't here last time, quick summary. The head of the Coven is dead. Both of our best friends are running for Coven leader. We were initially going to support one of them, but then our sister showed up and was like, hey, you should run for Coven leader instead. So now that's what we're doing. Dear Fortuna, you wanted to see us, right? I'd love a get together before the race starts. Let me know when it's a good time and I'll pick up Dahlia and come over to your place. So these are both of our best friends who are going to compete against each other. But we wanted to have a meet-up before they start going against each other politically. It's a really cool game. The story so far is up on our YouTube channel as VODs. I played the demo a while ago and then my save continued. So there's a decent amount of content. It's all about tarot and divination and making your own deck and political shit. It's great. The art is beautiful, and I found out today when I was doing some research into Deconstructeam that they have a lot of games that they've made in the past in this style, so that's really cool. Thanks for coming. It's been centuries since we got the 3 of us together. I don't know why we didn't do this, right away. What's up, witches? And you bet, magic life can get so chaotic sometimes that we just forget to enjoy it. Yeah. It makes me so happy to see the 2 of you together. What do I want to ask them? What did we do last time we met? I remember you 2 came over to my garden. We had some delicious pastries that Fortuna baked herself. Oh, I remember. And we opened that bottle of swordfish liquor I got from the Nomad Sky caravan. Oh shit, I do remember now. We started to play that silly mortal game you taught us. Oh right, Truth or Dare. Oh, bless them. It was all the rage amongst teenagers when I was a young mortal. Oh damn, then I dared you to read into the future of the Coven. That is how the incident started. Fucking Adana, this is all her fault. If you ask me, she got off lightly. Now it's up to us to clean up her fucking mess. Are you nervous about the elections? Oh, yeah, Truth or Dare. I would be surprised if these 3 hadn't fucked. All the witches are women, and fairly certain a lot of them are sapphic. It's great. You can't imagine. I'm cool, more excited than anything. On the one hand, I'm not worried because whoever wins in the end, the coven is going to be well looked after. On the other hand, I want what's best for the coven, and I truly believe my program is the safest bet. Just to be clear, I do think you'd make for a lovely leader, but playing it safe is the death of progress, Jasmine. But aren't we all well already? We just need to iron out Aidana's more abusive politics and put some love into the community. That's because the status quo benefits you. Think about all the novices, and all the witches who don't fit into that orderly vision, myself included. Stares into camera. About how this is an allegory for conservative politics. And also liberals. My plan is not to start a revolution, but to level the playing field. It's not fair that power is held by the eldest. Novices need to be guided, though. Think about when we had just ascended. We weren't in any shape to be making important decisions. I don't know about that. Age has its own setbacks. What do you think, Fortuna? Well, about that. I guess it's time I make my stance clear. I am running for leader myself. What? Oh my, but aren't you exiled? Patrice is going to help me run the campaign. In fact, it was her who practically forced me into this venture. Okay, and what's your deal? I'm not really sure yet, we still have to define our program. But my sister is dead set on having my divination at the helm of the new government. That'd be quite an asset, alright. Have you really thought this through? I doubt a criminal has much of a chance at leadership. Whoa, that's a bit strong. Yeah, Jasmine. No need to get all carceral on us. I'm not a criminal, Jasmine. Part of the plan of becoming the next leader is to eradicate unfair punishments. So you actually wanted to meet us to declare war, huh? Not war, I just thought it'd be proper to let you know firsthand. I really think that no matter who wins, the future is bright. Yeah, that's what I like to think. But the stress of competing against you two is a bit overwhelming. Why don't we use this opportunity to promise that, no matter what, we'll still be friends after the race is over? No promises needed. I never had a doubt about it. Likewise, we will always be friends. Thank you. I don't know what I would do if I lost you. You won't. I love you. I love you too. I love you three. Aw, babies. I was worried that this was going to be a plot point that's going to, like, drive a wedge between all of them. So hopefully it's all fine. Fuck off. Okay, the next few weeks are about to get pretty busy. I'd better leave and start preparing my knives. Figuratively speaking, I understand. No, literally. I'm a daggersmith. That's what I do. No need to stab anyone, though. I hope. She would love to stab someone. Haha. Okay, you two take care. Okay. See you soon. Take care, both of you. Bye. Thanks for coming. Okay. Oh, I have another message. Have I seen this turtle before? Oh, yes, Patrice. So, Patrice is our sister. Like, we were sisters when we were mortals, and then Fortuna ascended, and then, like, 30 or 40 years later, Patrice ascended. Fortuna, everything is set to go. Get your shit in order because it's about to get real. Let me know when you're ready and we'll review the program and campaign plan. Patrice. She's so cool. How are you? I am excited and eager to start. Good. Hold on to that fuel. Did you meet with Dahlia and Jasmine? Yes, I did. How did they take it? It's hard to tell. I think they're okay. I think they're okay. I believe we're fine. All's good. Really? We promised we'll always be friends, no matter what. Ugh, so corny. This is going to be the weirdest political race in the universe. Maybe all political conflicts should be handled with as much love as this one. Well, jury's still out on how well this is going to go. They're good friends. I'm sure this will all be handled honourably. There's no honour in politics, only victory. Whatever, what now? Okay, allow me to give you a rundown of what's ahead. We have to define a program and a plan. Oh, so this is something that came up in, like, before our sister forced us to run for leader ourselves, we got to look at the programs of the other two, and they were split into, like, 5 categories and this one other issue. And they both had, like, opposite views on the thing. And in analysing their approaches, if the game asks me to put together my own program, I will use what we talked about then to pick what we thought was the quote-unquote best program, based on sort of the politics of Game Assist in general. First, we'll analyse our opponents and I'll interview you to see where we stand on the main issues. Then, we'll sketch and review a program. Once we get something solid, we'll form a team and schedule some campaign actions to get the ball rolling. The date for the election Congress hasn't been decided yet, but we're against the clock as of now. All clear? Yes. Good. First of all, did someone tell you about the 5 pillars of the Coven? Yes. You know, judgment, law enforcement, forbidden arts, mortal affairs, and witch duties. Do you need me to explain them to you? For the benefit of people watching who haven't seen this game, explain them to me again, please. Thorough, that's good. Here's the deal. There are 5 key directives that keep our Coven's cogs churning. As I said, judgment, law enforcement, forbidden arts, mortal affairs, and witch duties. Make good note of them. Judgment is about how we deal with conflicts within the Coven, how we determine who's at fault and such. It's also the executive branch, where the Coven is going, and how we deal with major events. Until now we've had runic judgment, which basically consisted of Adana consulting with the gods and us blindly swallowing whatever she fed us. Then we have law enforcement. That's how the Coven punishes anyone who did something wrong or forbidden, as determined by judgment. Right now, as you're well aware, we send infractors into exile for a variable amount of time depending on the severity of their actions. Can our slogan be "Fuck you, exile"? Very punk, it may work. Next is forbidden arts. That's how we deal with perilous magic and knowledge such as summoning behemoths, necromancy, etc. The current directive is that when the Coven determines that something could put our community at risk, we ban it. Then there's mortal affairs. That's how we deal with humans and, as traditionally put, other lesser beings. Lesser beings as in animals or any life form that doesn't have access to magic, basically. Fuck that term, by the way. Adana determined that mortals should be exploited and manipulated at witches' convenience. Did you know that Adana wanted to cause World War III on Earth? What? Why? To harvest energy from mortals? Fucking bastard. We still have a celebration pending to send her off to hell. You bet. Last but not least, there are the witch duties. That defines what obligations members have to the Coven. Right now, we have those obnoxious quarterly controls Adana imposed on us to check on our progress. You skipped them thanks to exile, but damn if they haven't been a pain in the ass. Also, should a witch fail to deliver, they'll eventually lose their membership. Imagine the strain that's put on many of our sisters. I would have gladly done my homework in exchange for freedom, though. I know, but still. Luckily, the controls are suspended until after the elections, and many of us are hoping they will be cancelled forever. Nice. That's all 5 of them, right? Yes. But for these elections, there's an additional critical point to the race. What to do with Adana's corpse. Oh, right. The Coven is divided between devouring her, making the 100 members that we are right now more powerful, or scattering her remains throughout the cosmos so more witches can ascend, making the coven more diverse. What's your stance on that? I don't have a strong opinion on it. I'm fine with either becoming more powerful or welcoming more witches. But make no mistake, it's one of the hottest topics in these elections, so whatever you choose, be ready for a storm. Understood. Internalize these issues, take your time. Let me know when you're ready to continue. Done? Yes, I am ready to go ahead. Done. Good. Let's start dissecting our rivals then. Who do you want to start with? You choose. Alright, Dahlia then. Dahlia is not from Earth. On our home planet, politics have evolved and twisted more than anywhere in the explored universe. She comes from the demonic desert lands, where matriarchy-based warlordism and chieftainship are the primary form of organization, even nowadays. I'm not saying to underestimate her, but we can expect her to not be well prepared to navigate the intricacies of a political campaign. That seems rude, especially as she has some really good ideas. On the other hand, Dahlia's politics seem to be very different from her homeworld's. From what I've gathered, her focus seems to be collectivizing the Coven's duties and responsibilities, distributing the Coven's power horizontally. Level the playing field is practically her slogan. Whoa, how did you manage to get all that info in so little time? Enjoying the perks of having a journalist sister now, huh? Now focus. Her program to achieve this is judgment by referendum. Dahlia argues that a community this compact we should... I really can't read today. Dahlia argues that in a community this compact, we should have to account for every member's input regardless of their background or preparation. Enforcement? None whatsoever. She believes in amicable resolution. And should dialogue fail, she wants to leave the matter in the hands of the arbitrage office. Her point being that we don't need to police ourselves when we already have the magical pact. Which I agree with. Forbidden arts. Allow free access to any kind of magic and control them through education, not banning. So, harm reduction. Mortal affairs. Cut all ties with mortals. I am not that hype about that one. Dahlia believes we're too privileged to be messing with people's lives. She thinks we should leave them be and focus on the cosmic and the magical. Witch duties, magical tax. Have every member of the Coven share a percentage of their magic output to pool resources for the benefit of the clan. And finally, she believes we should scatter Adana's remains so more witches can ascend and our Coven can become more diverse. As you can see, Dahlia is betting on a kind-hearted community that requires goodwill to work. Almost utopic, I must say. What do you think is the best strategy to undermine her program? My immediate thought is I don't want to undermine it, because initially we were gonna, side with her. So the options are... I don't want to undermine it, it's pretty cool. Expose her naivete. Faith in good intentions is ridiculous. Horizontalism will make us slow and clumsy. Point out the failure of communism on Earth. Or spotlight the primitive societies of her homeworld. None of these options are good. So I'm gonna say I don't want to undermine it, because it is pretty cool. That won't float. It's imperative you challenge your opponent's ideals to get ahead. Try again. Oh my god, okay. Well, if I'm not allowed to not, challenge her, then I guess the only thing that isn't, either, what's it called, contradictory or attacking her character is to point out the failure of communism on Earth, because I don't want to call her naive. I don't want to, other her for where she comes from, and a lot of our program will also probably rely on horizontalism. So I will pick this one for those reasons. Point out the failure of communism on Earth. It may work, However, although the majority of witches from our coven come from Earth, many of them predate the existence of communism. Don't worry, we'll figure out a more universal approach. Okay, now let's capitalize on your intimate knowledge about your rival. What would you say is Dahlia's strongest point? Her overwhelming charisma and the confidence she projects. She embodies the winds of change. She's pretty popular among young witches. Her determination, she is battle ready. Or she is the most virtuous, the most incorruptible of us all. I think the thing that stands out to me about Dahlia is her confidence and charisma. She's, in all the conversations that we've had in the game, she's been like very energetic and positive, and you just know that she's good at what she does. I would also say that she is determined and battle ready, but I'm gonna pick this one. Yeah, if this were a popularity contest, she'd have the upper hand. I'm sure her campaign will kick off with a lot of momentum. We can't hope to defeat her on any revolutionary grounds. We'll have to play on your intelligence and mysticism to get a bite of her cake. Alright, what about her weaknesses? What is Dahlia's most critical flaw? She is very impulsive, impatient, and gets angry easily. She's very green when it comes to debating politics or philosophy. She's very radical and lacks diplomacy. She's the least astute of the lot, easy to trick. Or making daggers is the least valuable asset offered by a candidate. Again, I don't want to rag on her because she's cool. But out of the three of us as candidates, having a leader who can do divination, even if everyone just believes it to be regular divination, but we know that it's not just reading the future, it's writing the future, that's like pretty valuable. And then Jasmine has a magical garden, which can be very useful in times of like medical need. So I guess the daggers thing. A bit out of the box as an answer, but we can work with that. In the picture she's painting for the coven, there's no need for an especially powerful leader. But with a few scare tactics, we can create the need in the voters for a leader that holds a critical talent. And your divination is the winning horse for that kind of race. Is this really necessary? It's your call. If we don't exploit your opponent's flaws, it will make it less likely for you to become the next leader. Politics are ugly, I know. But also, let me tell you, you should expect the same from your rivals. Friends or not, I'm sure they won't be pulling any punches. Be ready. I'm already regretting this. But sure, whatever. I'll handle it. Shall we go over Jasmine now? Yeah, sure. Jasmine was born in a small English town during the Industrial Revolution, circa 1800. That put her in a cultural sweet spot for amassing the sympathies of the coven. She's a young witch in the eyes of the eldest, medieval and ancient witches, but not so alien as us contemporary witches with our world wars, TV, internet, and other global lunacies. Jasmine gets along with us, but is also part of the last decent generation according to the most conservative witches. Her politics are a liberal revision of Adana's, removing the most tyrannical mechanisms by reducing punishment and responsibilities. That will maintain the status quo, but give more room for individualism and personal enterprise, free from so many duties and the fear of failure. Her program to achieve this is: judgment will be performed by a quorum of the 4 eldest witches, in agreement with the leader. That is the sweetest candy of her program for the old lot. Enforcement will work with a system of strikes. She hasn't specified how many yet, but should a witch accumulate enough warnings, she will be expelled from the coven. Way less radical than exile, and the worst case scenario is the freedom to start anew elsewhere. Regarding forbidden arts, she won't change a thing. Anything deemed dangerous by the eldest witches will be banned. Then, for mortal affairs, Jasmine proposes a model of protection and guidance. What is good for humanity? What should we protect them from? I guess that'll be determined by the quorum of the eldest. We talked in the last episode about how this was a very paternalistic viewpoint and really lent on the whole thinking of humans and other mortal beings as lesser creatures. Lastly, as for witch duties, she proposes a policy of no vigilance. Jasmine argues that we should trust every sister will have the coven's interests in mind and that there's no need to evaluate or impose any duties on any member. And of course, regarding the trending topic, Jasmine wants the coven to devour Adana's corpse so we all become more powerful. Take a minute to interiorize Jasmine's program. Sure. Done? Done. Perfect. So tell me now, what do you think is the best strategy to undermine her program? These plans benefit the powerful and forsake novices. Interesting. If we adopt this strategy, we may polarize the coven's opinion. But in the long run, we could gather the support of the young and weak, plus the support of the most compassionate elders. It may do the trick. Good, good. Now to assess the candidate herself. Let's use your privileged info on Jasmine. What would you say is Jasmine's strongest point? I would say that she's a pillar of the community. Everyone comes to her, and everyone is, friends with her. She is also kind of manipulative, and gives off a sort of innocence and frailty that could turn people to her cause. But I think pillar of the community kind of encapsulates a lot of that as well. She's a pillar of the community because her innocence and frailty lead people to want to be friends with her, and then she can manipulate them. She helps and provides for many people with her garden and has many contacts and friends. That sure puts her ahead in the race from the very start. It'll be hard to win people's trust in Jasmine over to our side. We'll need to undermine her capabilities as a leader and reinforce her status as a community provider so she stays like that rather than as a ruler. Now to her flaws. What would you say is Jasmine's weakest point? Envy. Envy is definitely her weakest point. We experienced earlier on her getting super jealous because someone came and spoke to us instead of speaking to her. So I think envy is the big fatal flaw for Jasmine. Really? Yes, and she does a poor job hiding it. We should come up with creative ways of triggering her envy then. This will come very handy to cloud her judgment. I feel so bad doing this. Toughen up, Fortuna. Her advisors will be doing the same about you, no doubt. Plus, these are emergency resources. If we play our cards right, we can hope for a clean victory. Focus on bringing your best game, and I won't have to push any ugly buttons. Just in case we have anyone new joining the stream right now, hello. Welcome to our fundraiser. If you type !Palestine, you will receive a link to our fundraiser. We are trying to raise £1,000 for medical aid for Palestinians, so that we can help to provide essential medical aid to the civilians and just all people of Palestine who have been affected by Israel's acts of violence and genocide on the Palestinian population in Gaza. Please donate if you can, and if you can't, stick around, watch the stream, share it with your friends. We're going to be streaming several times a week up until the end of November, so anything you can do to help with that sharing or donating is really appreciated. Fortuna says, talk about pressure. Alright, now for the third candidate. What? There's more? Of course, no one told you? No? Who is it? No one truly thinks she poses any threat to Dahlia or Jasmine, but she is a candidate nonetheless. We should study her. I believe this dark horse has a chance of surprising us all. Tell me who it is already, come on. Ooh, this is a new character. We've not met this person yet. Cupressa, the historian witch. The eldest witch in our coven. She precedes even Adana. Cupressa is originally from Earth, but ascended way before humanity started even writing. She has an infallible memory. All events get registered inside her tree rings. She's been a really valuable source for the Cosmic Gazette. Cupressa has helped us many times with our articles. The thing is that she's always played a secondary role in the coven, just supporting us with her wisdom. But apparently, Cupressa isn't a fan of change and isn't happy with the direction Jasmine or Dahlia want to take the coven, so for the first time, she's running for leader. Her program is easy to sum up. She wants to keep things exactly as Adana left them. So, runic judgment, exile banning, exploited at the coven's convenience, and strict quarterly controls. Moreover, she advocates for preserving Adana's corpse as some sort of oracle, to keep using her as a channel to consult with the gods, and to set the direction for the coven. That is an odd one. Didn't know there was a third option for that. Wow, fuck Cupressa. Fuck her program in any case. I know Cupressa personally, and she's very kind and helpful. But yes, no one wants the ghost of Adana to keep ruling over us. She has very few supporters, all among the eldest, but I wouldn't underestimate her. Cupressa has this special mystical aura around her. Combined with her vast knowledge, she's sure to impress many voters during the campaign. Depending on how gruesome the race gets, we could scare some of the most conservative witches into switching sides from Jasmine to Cupressa. I see. As long as we don't underestimate Cupressa and keep her in check, it all should be fine though. Understood. Alright, are you ready to start defining our program? Do you want to take a break? Let's get this over with already. Alright. We'll go over every point, assess our options, make some choices, and when we have a first draft, we can review any aspect to iron out the program. It's okay to borrow some ideas you may fancy from your rivals, but try to make the program that's unique enough to be your own. Bugwa redeemed stretch. Oh, okay. Big stretch. Oh, I felt my back click. I clearly needed this. Oh. Thank you for that. And a hydrate, thank you. No, please don't crack my back. It felt horrible. Okay, let's put together this manifesto. I feel like I'm back in student politics again. First point, judgment. Right now, this is where our rivals stand. Jasmine wants to form a quorum of the eldest. Dahlia wants to introduce judgment by referendum. Cupressa wants to keep Adana's runic judgment. What type of judgment do you prefer? I can try to come up with a new option, that's pretty cool. I would like to ponder referendum, though. Isn't Dahlia's idea of dividing all the power among members via referendum a beautiful idea? It is beautiful indeed. It would be something... oh, pardon me. Far-fetched for a bigger society, but provided the coven stays within the hundreds, it's feasible. It'd still be quite cumbersome, and we need to keep in mind that the most popular opinion isn't always what's truly best. But it will always keep the majority satisfied. Will this make us weaker but happier? I can't tell. It's never been done before in a coven that I know of. Okay, so what type of judgment do you prefer? I want to see what the new option could be. Maybe there's another option to manage the coven. Something fair but effective. What do you have in mind? To have a leadership that decides on everything without the community's input is problematic. But leaving all executive control in the hands of everyone will produce erratic results. I'm thinking of establishing some sort of ministries to compartmentalize power. Appoint experts in every matter to deal with law, exploration, magic development, resource management, culture, anything really. Set up as many ministries as necessary. All ministers will work along with the leader, but they would have the last word on their respective competences, since they would be the ideal person to make informed decisions about each issue. And how will these ministers be appointed? Do these positions rotate? What happens if someone more competent shows up? Is the minister replaced? I mean, it's really interesting on paper, and this will be quite effective to have dedicated witches on every important matter. But this will probably breed many power struggles within the coven, fighting for these positions or trying to earn the favour of certain ministers. I see. Not that the other options don't have downsides. I'm just pointing out what could go wrong with this idea. I think it's still worth giving it a shot if you like it. If you're at the helm, I'm sure you'll run a tight ship and put together an excellent team. I'll help you. Yeah, avoiding corruption in this scenario relies on having a capable leader. You are a capable leader. I think you're ready to deal with any kind of judgment system you decide to go with. So, having said that, what would you prefer? I think... God, this is difficult. I think, given that the coven is relatively small, referendum might work quite well. And the ministry system just gives me like horrible flashbacks to trying to set up committees for everything at my old job, which was stressful. So I'm not sure. It's like the committee/ministry idea has some benefits to it, but it also just makes me remember how difficult it was to fill committee places. I don't want to be a dictator, Dean. Also, the smell in here is because of you. Oh my gosh. To make it less smelly, you should donate to our fundraiser by typing !Palestine. Yeah, committees sure are a thing. I think... I don't know. What do you guys think? I definitely don't want to do runic judgment because that's like do what the gods tell you to do. And quorum of the eldest is just silly because it relies on the fact that it basically the idea that the oldest witches are the smartest and most wise. How many people are in the coven? It's currently around 100. I would be making the decision to make the coven larger as well by scattering Adana's corpse to make more witches. But it still wouldn't get massive. It would be like maybe 300 or 400 maximum. How many of them are stupid? I do not know. I could not tell you. But yeah, it's like how much of this is just me not wanting to do like what's it called? Are the runes gods not trustworthy? That's what the previous leader did, and it was very kind of dictatory, I would say. I think if we hadn't have been offered the fourth option, I was gonna go with the referendum, because in general we agreed with a lot of Dahlia's ideas, and that was hers. Then that's your favourite. I'm not doing a chaos run. Maybe if I ever play this game again, I'll do a chaos run, but I think I'm gonna go with referendum. Gotcha. Now to law enforcement. These are the stances of our competitors. Jasmine wants to set up a system of warnings leading to expulsion. Dahlia advocates for amicable agreement supported by the arbitrage office. Cupressa wants to keep exile as punishment. I mean, yes, fuck exile. I love that it doesn't even give us the option to be like, oh yeah, I'd quite like exile actually. I want amicable resolution. It may seem naive, but what is there to police really if we already have the arbitrage office? It's ideal and quite beautiful to trust in our sisters' ability to coexist. But the arbitrage office only really covers the magical pact. Shouldn't we have a way to mediate more mundane conflicts within the coven? The arbitrage office won't interfere in issues like who has rights over a newly discovered domain, or who should be responsible for a common project gone wrong. What do we do in those cases? We do restorative justice. I guess that Dahlia would leave that in the hands of a referendum. We could do the same. That could lead to a mob mentality. Popular witches will hold a lot of power. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I'm still gonna pick amicable resolution because it's the closest we can get to being like, we will have restorative justice. The new option. Then it would be nice to see what the new option is. Where's the option for me stealing their powers? What, the Halloween Town approach? I have troubled feelings towards punishment as a method of enforcing the law. It keeps law and order through fear, but we can't expect everyone to behave. Isn't there a way to make punishment constructive? Constructive how? Send bad witches to detention to do some magical studies? Not that, but hey, that may be an idea. What about community service? Elaborate. Instead of expelling members, or gods forbid, sending them into exile, we could set up a system of assigning hours of community service depending on the severity of the infraction. Tending other witches' gardens, harvesting magic for the coven, helping the explorers, whatever is needed really. We could pull that off, yeah. I don't know if it will look childish or weak in the eyes of some witches, but it'll benefit the community in the long run, definitely. Alright. Okay, so how do we feel about community service as opposed to amicable resolution? Because ideally in my mind I would combine the two in a sort of thing of like, if the amicable resolution is that the person who has been wronged would like the person who's done the wrongdoing to help them with their project, then that would work well. Dean, we're not stealing everyone's magic. This option is not happening. Again, I've talked about it before that I think the warnings leading to expulsion could be very easily exploited because severity is very subjective. Deciding how many warnings someone should have is very subjective. It could be exploited by people, you know, picking their favourites if someone keeps fucking up. How bad is it if people violate coven rules? It's like, I don't think anyone's killing anyone, but I don't think the magic explosion that destroys the universe would fall under law enforcement. It would fall under forbidden arts. I think this is more like, you know, areas of civil law and also in some cases criminal law, I guess, like stealing and stuff. I don't know. Again, I don't think people aren't really going around murdering each other. Community service is a good idea. I think community service could be good, partially because, like I said, it can kind of lead to the amicable resolution, but it also is a different answer to our opponents, so it will mean that people are more likely to look at our manifesto and go like, hey, that's different. I got a ping. Oh, thank you for the donation, Evelyn. Thank you for the £10 donation. Thank you very much. Sorry for how extremely chaotic this is. It's only going to get more chaotic. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but the big special stream that I'm going to be doing for like a long charity stream is I'm going to be doing my first ever Nuzlocke. So that's when the chaos will really come. Okay, I think we came to the conclusion that community service was probably the best option. Oh, hello, other bee. All the bees. We've got a whole hive. Okay, community service. Understood. Next is forbidden arts. These are the stances of our competitors. Jasmine and Cupressa want to continue banning whatever they deem dangerous. Dahlia wants to give free access to any kind of magic, but to enforce education, so we all know what we're dealing with. How do you want to go about dealing with forbidden arts? Yeah, the bee joke happens every single time. It will never get old. Okay, so immediately, my first opinion was that free access in education is better than banning, because it's like the harm reduction model of like drugs in the real world. What in particular goes under forbidden arts? Okay, so forbidden arts, currently the two that they keep referencing is summoning a behemoth, which, if you've seen the big guy in the background, this guy, his name is, I've forgotten what his name is, wow, amazing. He is a behemoth. It's forbidden to summon him, and we summoned him to help us make this new deck that we have. And the only person who knows that we've summoned him is our sister. The other thing that they talk about is necromancy. I'm not entirely sure what the punishment is currently. I think there was a character who has been taken in by the arbitrage office, which is like the magical police, for summoning a behemoth. I don't know what will happen to her after that, because our character is currently in exile, but she's not in exile because of the behemoth thing. She's in exile for something else. I don't think on the surface it sounds akin to drugs, because the negative consequences of drugs are mostly personal and not causing huge harm to others around you. But that's very true, that's very true. I would like to see what the third option is, because I do think that, like, the situation with witches is that people ascend to witchdom after dying, and then they're essentially immortal, unless they are killed or they lose the will to live, which anyone who lives for eternity probably would eventually. Which in my mind would make people think, like, you know, learn and grow and, like, not want to, like, blow up everyone around them. I want to see what the third option is, because if there's an option where we can, like, I don't know, ban certain things that are completely, like, fucking off limits, but provide free access and education to others, then maybe that would be ideal. I really like your point that you've made, Dean, about how it's not really a one-to-one with drugs because of the effect of other people. Of course, B. Have a good luck and work. Okay, third option. There must be some middle ground between banning and free access. Some summonings or spells can save lives. They could even protect us from major evils. There's much to achieve with the careful application of some of the forbidden arts, so what about extending permits? Make it so a witch can apply to have access to certain spells or rituals, and if the coven deems the applicant's purpose and aptitude appropriate, allow them to make use of them. That is an interesting compromise. You know more about forbidden arts than I do, so I'll go with whatever you think is better. How do you want to go about dealing? Yeah, the lurk and work is good. I do lurk and work frequently. I usually have streams on in the background when I'm working. Oh, did something happen to my audio? I don't know. I haven't dropped any frames on my end. I got much quieter. Am I okay now? Because I haven't, like, touched any settings. Okay. Dean, check your computer audio. Also, building Gunpla and watching also counts as a work and lurk. Very strange. So, how do we feel about the permit system as a middle ground? Because, again, it is really hard to sort of think, like, they don't give us much context on what the parameters and the potential dangers of the forbidden arts could be. So it's difficult. Permits sound okay if what they're saying is true, and sometimes the magic could protect us. I think it could, in that, like, the behemoths, summoning the behemoths isn't inherently bad. Like, our behemoth guy, he's stealing some power from us, and it might eventually fuck us up, but I don't think it's going to have a wider effect on the community, and it's helped us to access knowledge that we didn't have before. I don't think it should just be trusted to an individual judgment because the consequences are too great. Yeah, that's true. Again, it's really hard because it's like, if it's a permit system and the permits are decided... I mean, in her description she said that the permit would be decided by the community, so presumably this would be part of the referendum system. But also, Fortuna's divination isn't actually divination. When she reads the cards, she isn't just reading the future, she's writing it. So she could... I mean, obviously there's an element of chance, but she can interpret a future where things don't go wrong when people use... when people use this magic. So if she was able to define beforehand, and if there was a future where things could go wrong, then the permit could be denied, just to make it so that that future doesn't come true. It's very complicated. I think maybe... Yeah, it's tough. I think people are mostly leaning permit. It also has the benefit of being different to what our opponents are saying, so it makes us more of a standout candidate. So let's go with permit. This is the most time I've spent on dialogue options in this entire game. Wonderful. Now on to mortal affairs. These are the stances of our competitors. Jasmine says we should guide them, take care of them. Dahlia proposes cutting all ties. She believes that we shouldn't abuse our privilege over them and just let them be. Cupressa wants to continue exploiting them for our benefit. What's your stance on mortal affairs? I would like to find a new option, because I don't like guidance because it's paternalistic. I don't like cutting all ties because there was a couple of witches that came to visit us who, essentially they were dating mortals and it was going well, so I don't want to, like, make them sad because they were cool. And fuck exploitation, because that's just icky. So what is the new option? What else could we do about our relationship with mortals? I don't know. If you want to propose an alternative for our program, it should be something drastically different. Just some iteration on our rivals' ideas would feel uninspired or derivative. What are they doing to exploit them? I think a lot of the time they're just, like, harvesting energy from them and stuff. One of the subplots was that there's this witch who can, like, weave items of clothing out of certain types of energy, and the leader found out that this one particular energy that comes out when humans are at war is, like, really powerful. So she was going to manipulate humans into causing World War III just to gather this energy. So that is, like, the main example that we have of exploiting mortals for our own gain. and just kind of like, using them when it suits us. Whereas Jasmine's approach is more like permanently involved. Just some iteration on our rivals' ideas would feel uninspired or derivative. What about this? We reveal the existence of witches to mortals. Whoa, coming out strong. What's your angle? Whatever decision we make regarding mortals will be morally grey, since they don't know about us. What I propose here is a simple concept: truth. It'll definitely stir some chaos at the beginning, but in the end, wouldn't it be better if we develop a working relationship and make them aware of our capabilities? Let them ask directly for what they need. That is beautiful, but didn't you pay attention in school? Humanity has a troubling relationship with witches. They burned us for sport. They burned poor innocent women. What can they really do about the real deal? That's like revealing the existence of lions to a rabbit. They can hide or reject us, but in no way will they be able to hurt us. You're underestimating mortals' drive to destroy things. But sure, that could make our program look strong. We can spin a good angle from it. Prepare to be attacked in many debates, though. Fortuna, they have nuclear bombs. What's your stance? None of these are good options. Because she's probably drawing on that because, like, yeah, it would be good to be truthful to mortals so that they could make an informed decision about how they want to work with witches. And she's probably basing it on the fact that this one witch revealed that she was a witch to her mortal lover, and her mortal lover was fine with it. But, like, not all humans are going to do that. Not all other mortal beings are going to do that. It's complicated. What other option would you come up with if you had free reign here? I honestly don't know. Because I don't like the idea of cutting all ties. I think there should be restrictions on how much meddling you can do. But, for example, Patrice had kids and grandkids when she ascended who she would go and check in on. I think it would be cool to be able to still hang out with, like, your descendants. What strikes me here is the assumption mortals aren't gonna figure it out eventually. That is true. That is true. Which would fuck up everything. I guess minimal ties to mortals, like avoiding exploitation, and I wouldn't want to be too overly involved in their lives, because the way that Jasmine frames it is that she's like, we have more power than them, therefore we have a duty to look after them. But that is, historically has not gone very well for paternalistic, like, colonial enterprises. Well, it's gone well in that they've managed to take over countries, but it's not gone well for the people they're looking after. What is your but, Dean? If you have magic and the ability to alleviate suffering, isn't inaction essentially the action of allowing suffering? This is a good point. See, this is very complex and can't really be, like, tied down to, like, 4 multiple choice options. I'm very, very happy with the discussion today, guys. It's been very nice. Especially for this episode in particular. If we have the ability to alleviate human suffering, in this case, which we do, then if we're able to, we should be able to help. I think it seems more akin to an unfair distribution of resources in the case of magic power. True, it's not really ethical to hoard it for ourselves, and with the other question, which is like, do we eat the corpse to become more powerful, or do we scatter the corpse so that we get more witches and a more diverse range of people? I want to pick the larger, like, spread the power among more people. I think out of these options, the only way to achieve this, like, situation where we're able to help mortals in a way that isn't like patronizing and isn't overly controlling but also isn't exploiting them, is to reveal our existence to mortals and let them sort of decide how they want to interact. Like, do they want witches to be able to help if there's like a huge natural disaster? Or do they want, like, humans in particular can be very prideful. But I guess in terms of the ethical, like, moral question of is it ethical to hoard it for yourself, revealing existence to mortals is definitely an option to sort of be like, we can share some of our power with you if that's what you want. We can't literally give it to you, but we can, you know, be of assistance in other ways. Because the only way to give them power is they have to die. So I think based on all of the discussion points, and also what Evelyn said about like what like humans and other mortals are likely to figure this out eventually, especially as the sort of canon of this game is that witches live in space. So if like space exploration gets to a point where mortals can just find witches anyway, then we'd have to confront this all over again. So I think maybe the best option is to reveal our existence to mortals. Roger that. Let's talk about the witch duties. These are the stances of our competitors. Jasmine advocates for freedom and trust, for believing that every witch will always have the coven's best interests in mind. Dahlia wants to institute some sort of magical tax, have every witch share some of their magical output for common projects. Capressa wants to keep Adana's quarterly controls. Yeah, Jasmine big hippie, but also Jasmine looking out for people's mental health for when they don't have the capacity to provide. What are we going to do about witch duties? Try to come up with a new option. I like these new options so far. We have picked 3 out of 4 new options, so they seem to be quite good. I've reached out to these devs to see if maybe we can get some codes for their games to give away, so hopefully. There must be another way to make our coven stronger without abusing our members and without degrading the spirit of being a community. In all the years you've spent in this coven, what would you say has helped you bring your A game the most? Demand? Inspiration? Sharing resources? Oh, I know. Mentorship. My mentor, Eugenia, has been a cornerstone in my development as a witch. What do you say we institute a mentorship program? That's a great idea. Right now, one of the most pressing issues within our coven is the power gap between novices and elders. It will help to tighten the relationship between different generations of witches too. I like it. But this idea will be way better received among novices than elders. Old witches won't be really getting anything out of this deal, so it will be a tough sell for the less charitable conservatives. I don't think they'd not be... They get the viewpoint of newer witches who have only more recently become witches and are more connected to their like mortal life that they just left behind. A mentorship is something that requires a lot of time and work, so it will get in the way of many of the elders' plans. You yourself will be forced to take on some apprentices. Think about what that will mean for your lifestyle. I see. Okay. I like the idea of the mentorship program. I want to hear more about the magical tax because I don't really understand how it works. It may be interesting to adopt Dahlia's idea of a magical tax. It doesn't require any specific actions to serve the coven, and it's pretty fair since we'll be asking for a percentage of every witch's magical output, whatever form that takes. No one should be worried about failing controls. You can go about your existence however you want, provided you contribute to the coven's magical reserve. It's also opened the door for us to attempt some ambitious projects, since that much energy from so many witches will be a tremendous asset to work with. It'll drag down personal development though. Our sisters are used to having their full magical reserves to invest in their personal enterprises. So, in the end, it's a matter of putting collectivism over individualism. Having said that, I mean, I like collectivism. I always find it striking how witches always have such archaic aesthetic vibes in media. Like, what about futuristic witches? Oh, we have had some interesting witches. like, they've all had some very different, like, ways of dressing. It entirely depends on how, like, the person's power manifests and stuff. But I get what you mean. It is always like, when are we going to get, like, a cyberpunk witch, you know? Okay, I want to hear more about freedom and trust as well. The Coven's been pretty burdened for centuries now with Adana's abusive control. I don't know if complete freedom is a wise option, but it is an option that our sisters will welcome with open arms. Should it fail to work for whatever reason, we could always review it in the future. Unless we discover our community is extremely proactive and they pitch in voluntarily, it's certain we'll fall behind other Covens in just a few decades. But maybe it's not all about power and competition, and we could turn this into a more independent, laid-back association. In any case, my analysis is that this will weaken us in the long run, so... Whew, okay. I like the idea of the magical tax. And I like the idea of the mentorship program. I don't know what we stand to gain from outcompeting other Covens. We've had little to no interaction with other Covens, so I don't really know how that applies. Wouldn't we rather be happy using our magic for things we like? Exactly. I think when we were initially looking at Dahlia's program versus Jasmine's program, I think we agreed that out of those two options, freedom and trust sounded better. Just because, like, it's been pretty rough and people... Like, if you can rely on the fact that people might voluntarily contribute. What projects does the magic tax go to? Again, not entirely sure. I think maybe building new monuments or buildings, or potentially doing some larger rituals that require more like, essentially public spending. Politically speaking, we already have quite a controversial idea. Yeah. I think going with something more chill, like freedom and trust, could definitely benefit us. And that way we're only taking one idea from Dahlia, which I'm pointing to but it's under my head, the referendum idea from Dahlia, and taking this one from Jasmine. Yeah, I think everyone deserves a bit of a break. Let's go freedom and trust. Understood. And finally, we have the issue of what to do with Adana's corpse. These are the stances of our competitors. Jasmine wants the Coven to devour her corpse. That way we will be able to absorb her magic and become considerably more powerful. Dahlia wants to scatter her remains, give them back to the cosmos. That way more witches will be able to ascend and we will become more numerous and diverse. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the two, when a witch dies, the two things you can do is eat her or, like, blow her up. I haven't watched Yellow Jackets, but I've heard there is cannibalism. Cupressa wants to conserve Adana's corpse, to consult with her and keep using her as a channel to talk with the gods. Fuck this, no. Everyone hated Adana. Is there a fourth option? There is a fourth option, okay. What if? Nah, that's too much. Spit it out, we're brainstorming here. A wild idea could lead to something interesting. Option 4, eat her, but only I get to. Power hungry. Oh my gosh, that's actually the say. What if only the leader gets to eat Adana all by herself? What if you hoard Adana's power all to yourself, you're saying? Yes, become some sort of super leader. If it becomes a tradition, whoever is in charge will become more and more powerful with each generation, inheriting all the power of their predecessors. That sounds like a route to tyranny. Based. Working towards a godlike figure who can safeguard the Coven from any evil. That is dangerous. Yeah, I agree. Not a lot of people will agree with this plan. But if you manage to pull it off, you'll become extremely fucking powerful. I see no way that could go wrong. Exactly. I don't want to imagine what that would imply for your powers. You'll be able to rewrite reality itself if needed. I'll support you if that's what you want. I don't want to do that. I think that's a terrible idea. I don't like the super leader option. Let's hear more about scattering the remains, because this was my initial thought. I'm playing Vampire the Masquerade, and my character is a Malkavian with megalomania who believes he's prophetized for godhood. It may be spilling into my mentality. Nah, you just got a god complex. It's fine. We love narcissism. Maybe we should scatter Adana's remains. I mean, power for the sake of power is a bit pointless, and allowing more women to ascend and become witches seems the more humane thing to do. You're probably right. Opening the gates to potentially double our size will definitely stir some chaos in these times of change. But who cares? There's also power in numbers. Just bear in mind that advocating for scattering Adana's remains will earn us the sympathies of the novices and discomfort from the elders, and vice versa. It's not a god complex if you're actually a god. Exactly. Okay. I will ponder devouring Adana. I don't want to do it. Devouring Adana's corpse is tempting. We will all instantly become more powerful and prepared to confront these times of change. Yes. Yes? No witty remarks? Not that I mind welcoming more witches, but becoming more powerful will sure come in handy for my job. Yeah, that's the debate. I will support you no matter what you choose. Just bear in mind that advocating for devouring her will earn us the sympathies of the conservatives and discomfort from the novices. I don't want the sympathies of the conservatives. I think the best option is scattering her remains. We want a more diverse coven with more people. So let's go with that. Alright, that's a wrap then. Let's review the program as a whole now. This program is unique enough. I believe we are offering quite an interesting option over the plans of our rivals. Are you happy with it? Would you like to change anything? Okay, so based on what we've picked so far, does anything else earn the ire of conservatives? The referendum might, purely because they would rather Jasmine's option, which was having the council of oldest witches, but other than that, I think it's pretty equal. I'm okay to piss off some old conservative witches. So, our manifesto is judgment via referendum. We will decide on things with everyone having a say, and so it will be a case of popular vote. Law enforcement, community service, so helping other witches collect materials for their projects, tending people's gardens, things like that. Forbidden arts, we have a permit system. People apply for a permit to do certain forbidden magic, and then we vote on whether they are capable and trustworthy and their idea is reasonable enough, and then they get to use it. Which I imagine will have some elements of education in it as well. Mortal affairs, we're going to reveal the existence of witches. That might also draw some ire, but I think that's just going to shock everyone, to be honest. Witch duties, freedom and trust is just pretty chill. Everyone likes the chill time. And then we will welcome new witches with Adana's magic. I think this is... I'm very happy with this. It feels like a community document. This is not just Daz Fortuna's opinions, this is Game Assist Fortuna's opinions. Okay. I'm happy with this program. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Now, take a minute to look at our program. Internalize it, believe it, make it yours. You are going to have to defend all of these decisions in front of your rivals and the whole coven. But most importantly, I'm going to need you to sell the concept of it. And for that, we're going to need a slogan. A slogan, finally something fun. Not if our rivals have some tragic accidents. 2 of them are our best friends, Dean. It's been fun all the way for me so far. You're really enjoying yourself behind that haughty pose, huh? You bet. What would you like to use as a slogan? Oh no! Make our coven great again? Take fate into thy hands. Stronger together, a real sisterhood, or a very happy coven. If we win, we can make new friends with new witches. Yeah. Oh, I see. I see. I like stronger together and a real sisterhood. Make our coven great again is very funny meme. Haha. Eat the corpse while no one is looking and use your powers to win anyway. Which of these fit the manifesto more? I think stronger together or a real sisterhood are probably the best ones in that. Because like saying a very happy coven is like, well, this is gonna piss some people off, so maybe not necessarily. Make our coven great again seems to like focus. I mean, it's riffing on a conservative slogan, but it's also seems to be based in like, you know, making the coven powerful, which is not what we're doing. And take fate into thy hands seems a bit like this manifesto doesn't revolve around our divination as much as it could. We rejected the tax though. We rejected the tax, but the freedom and trust thing is still like a form of strength together because we're trusting each other. I guess we're also forming more ties with the new witches and mortals. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're having problems with stronger together, I feel like a real sisterhood is nice. I think also a real sisterhood is a nod to the game name, so I'm tempted to go with that one. Go with my heart. Okay. Very loaded. I like it. Loaded how? It implies that what Adana built wasn't a real sisterhood, but it doesn't insult her directly. I would like to imply that. It's a slogan that pleads for change, and the word sisterhood is a lovable term. I can work with this. Great job. Nice, thank you. We're almost done. Please, I need a wee. What else? We just need to start campaigning, right? Yes, and for that we need the ultimate, most classical form of propaganda. A poster. Oh, hell yes. Right, so a big part of this game is that we get to make our own tarot cards by arranging, like, little design elements. Which makes me think that it's gonna let me design my own poster. What for? It's not like there are any streets in space to plaster with my face. We'll send posters to everyone we know from inside and outside the coven. Try to have them set up in common spaces like temples or cosmic markets. That's not my style at all. That's why I'm here, to do all the nasty marketing you're too self-conscious to do. I just want all this to be over. A few weeks, a couple months at max, and this will be but a memory. Patrice is our sister. She's our mortal sister who then also ascended to be a witch, and she's also a journalist. You've done 200 years of exile. I'm sure you can endure this. Okay, I give up. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I was thinking that your new cards have a lot of style. What do you say? Want to compose a poster yourself? Do I have a choice? Not really. You're really talented. Let's just squeeze your artist juices. Ooh, okay. I get to do some fun graphic design. I need a Wii though. So, I'm going to take a quick break, run an ad, take this moment to once again remind you, as Nightbot has so helpfully reminded, that we are trying to raise money for medical aid for Palestinians. It would be really great if you could throw us some cash or promote the fundraiser to your friends and family. Graphic design is my passion. And yeah, I will be back shortly to play about with this very game assist palette of colours to make a nice poster. Okay, hello, we're back and ready to graphic design. I like the dark purple. Oh, look how cool we are! What's hiding over here? Oh, a star. Okay. I like these. Gonna need to put them in the background though. That's why I picked the darker purple. So are only women capable of magic in this game, or is magic society gender segregated? So we've been told that only women can become witches. We don't know if there's another type of magical being that men can become, or non-binary people can become. But witches in this world are female only. In the previous stream, we helped like coach a trans woman through her witch transition. So that also confirmed what I was fairly certain was that it is based on, you know, gender and not sex, because everything else about this game was like radical enough that I was like, they're gonna believe that trans women are women, right? Good. Can I bin this? Okay, it won't let me get rid of this star. So I can have a couple of like small sparkles. Does that duplicate? Yeah. But I mostly want to go down the route of lightning bolts because I think they look cool and powerful. Oh, I can't make it any bigger than that. Have the lightning going across the purple bits. I think is pretty sick. Part of me is like, do I have her standing on a skull? But no, she's just gonna be floating. I don't want to like literally be like I'm standing on the dead body of Adana. Little. I think that's pretty sick. Graphic design is indeed my passion. Yeah. Don't know, would a different background look better? I mean, that gets rid of the stripes. That's too subtle. Too subtle. Eh. I think I like the dark purple the best. It's the most striking. Finish. What do you think? Very neutral? Oh, you don't like it? No, it's pretty cool. I like it. Should I give it another try? No, it's good. I like it. It's powerful in a very unique way. If anything, it does a great job of capturing your essence. We should send this to a museum once the race is over. Shut up. Great, we are ready to win this race. She definitely doesn't like it. Yeah, I know. Finally. Honestly, I'm really not cut out for this. Yes, you are. Fate provided you with a mean sister to make sure of it. Just my luck. Now, to the unavoidable question. Why don't you draw a card to make sure we win this thing? That would be cheating. Is it, really? I'm sure the others are going to be using all of their skills to get ahead. You just happen to be overpowered, but that's life. I don't know. It doesn't come without its risks, though. There's always a chance I draw a card that doesn't offer any favourable results to us. And once drawn, there's no not going back. We could assure our victory, but we could also doom us and make all of our efforts futile. Right. Well, you know your deck better than anyone. Our chances of winning through sheer effort are pretty decent, I'd say. If you want to remove the anxiety from the competition by determining the outcome, I'm in. I really don't want to draw a card for this. I will read the cards for like other parts of the game, but not this, when we know that we are writing the future. It's too risky. Let's just do our best. If I ever do a chaos run, then I'll do it, sure. Alright. We should at least look for opportunities during the race to use the deck on our rivals. They'll have to agree to ask something of the deck, though. I don't do divination without consent. That's where I draw the line. Ugh, okay. I'll try to come up with ways to seduce them into getting readings. Suit yourself. Oh! I've reached chapter 6. Pandemonium. Oh my gosh. Ooh. At some point I'm gonna have to take a screenshot for a thumbnail. New angle. Yeah, when we get new chapters, we get nice little like cutscenes. So I think this is a flashback. Please wait here. Yuina will be here in a minute. What is this? Am I dead? No, don't worry, you're not dead at all. I shouldn't say a lot more though. Why not? Protocol. This probably doesn't mean much to you, but you're extremely lucky. Yuina is an exceptional witch. You couldn't be in better hands. A what? Come again? Oops, I've said too much, but everything's gonna be alright. I must go. Just get comfortable. But, bye! Oh. Oh, it's like a point-and-click adventure. I don't recognize those stars. Where the hell am I? Just get comfortable. Ah, my clothes are still wet. And how did this much sand get under my swimsuit? Shit, I still have the keys of the food truck on me. I hope Eva and Patrice managed to get back home okay. Oh yeah, so we found out before that Fortuna ascended by walking into the sea. Which is pretty badass if you ask me. Let me just save the screenshot. She just walked into the sea and then became a witch. Yeah, you should probably warm up if you're still wet. Oh, so warm. This feels nice. This place is actually super cool. I wonder if it'd be too expensive to rent for a nice getaway with those fools. Did she... Will I ever get to see my friends again? I don't think she knew it would happen. I believe she went on a trip with her sister and her friend, and they were all wishing on a meteor shower, and she wished to become a witch, and then she was suddenly drawn to walk into the sea, and she ascended. Her sister died of natural causes. Well, not she died of cancer. She lived until 54, died of cancer, and then was reborn as a witch. The other character who we helped become a witch, who ended up with the name Nova, She was headed back to her apartment on her birthday and was having some very negative thoughts. And it was her birthday, so her flatmates made her a cake, and her birthday wish, we weren't actually told what it was, but from the dialogue leading up to it, we can assume that she wished, like, I want to disappear, and then she ascended. So that's kind of how people become witches. This place makes me want to read tarot. Oh yeah, and Fortuna was a tarot reader in her mortal life. The air smells like nothing I've smelled before. It's a mix of nature, fate, and possibility. Gravity feels different too, lighter. I feel like my mind is slowly shedding some dry husk, and a fresh breeze is starting to blow through it. This trembling, this isn't fear, it's excitement. Oh no. I feel like I never want to go home. Oh, Ferris, I hope you feel better soon. Big love. Thank you for being here. Have a good time, I demand it, I will. Oh, I didn't know Eugenia was, like, a deer woman. Haha, I love you already. Relax, I'm here to look after you. You were from Earth, right? Earthlings always have the worst time processing their ascension. Your collective subconscious is too cynical. Your society rejects magic with a strength unlike any other in this universe. Just let it sink in. This is something good, I promise. Dear. Ha, very observant. My kin are what human witches call deer folk. Oh, and you are a human witch, by the way. Is this really happening? Yes, congratulations, you ascended. Please, don't be afraid. I'm not afraid. This is the best day of my life. Ooh, this is a different angle. 32 cycles left. Okay, I think we're maybe starting to get a timer. Also, I've remembered his name. His name is Abramar, and he's just peeking through the window. Everything is set to go. Election day has just been announced. We're merely 32 cycles away from it. We have everything we need, so let's get to work. The most critical point is, what do we do with this massive behemoth? Yeah, that. What do we do with your sister's savior? What could we possibly do with the help of an almighty being older than time who's able to grant wishes? Can you make everyone vote for us? Yes. What are you willing to pay in exchange? Can't you grant wishes without a price? Aren't you and Fortuna friends at this point? Yeah, I love Fortuna, but the cosmic wheel needs its offering in order for my magic to work. What can a behemoth do for free? I could disguise myself as a familiar and deliver messages. I can harvest energy. I can spread rumors. Interesting. Make him crush our opponents, yes. And I think that's about it, if we don't want to draw too much attention to my powers. It's already more than I expected, so great. Happy to surpass your expectations, oh dominant sister. Which grimoire of clowns did you find this one in, Fortuna? Let's check the vibe of the coven first. Vibe check. Programs have already been made public, so witches are starting to form their own ideas regarding this race. We can tap into the mind of the coven with the Dream Ball. The Dream Ball allows us to get real-time readings of our community's desires and expectations. Hence, we can filter the current vote intention. Ooh. Okay, so it is a solid 100. This will be the pivotal tool for adjusting our strategies as the race progresses. Hydrate, thank you. This game does require a lot of reading. Okay. Every action we perform, and the actions of our opponents, of course, will affect the Coven's sympathies, and that will be reflected in the Dream Balls readings. I added some men's runes to filter vote intention by demographic. Go ahead and browse through them. I encourage you to put some time into familiarizing yourself with the characteristics of each group. You not only need their votes, but you also plan on becoming their leader, so you'd better take responsibility and do some studying. Luckily for you, as the founder of the Cosmic Gazette, I know a fair amount about the idiosyncrasies of our coven. I wrote down a comprehensive demographic analysis for you. I took the liberty of placing it all in your library for when you have the time to go and do some studying. Thank you so much. I got you. Now, about how we're going to operate. Fortuna, you won't be able to accomplish much by yourself out there, being exiled and all. But we will act as your will outside this room. Just let us know what you want us to do and we'll set out to do so. It could be promoting some point of the program, looking for allies, gathering intel, harvesting some energy for your deck. Why are we exiled? So basically, we looked into the future of the Coven, and what we said, what we saw was that the Coven was going to undergo some disaster and fall, and so that rumour started spreading. And at the time, we thought we were exiled purely because we were telling people what we saw, and that was sort of sowing dissent in the Coven. Turns out, Fortuna's power isn't just reading the future, it's writing it. So when she pulled the cards and said there's going to be a disaster that causes the downfall of the Coven, she was writing that into existence. And the head of the Coven at the time, Adana, knew that this was the true nature of Fortuna's powers, and instead of, telling her that that was why she thought she was so dangerous, she exiled her, initially for 1,000 years, but at the beginning of this game she'd been exiled for 200 years and decided to summon Abramar, because in her exile she also had her deck taken away from her, and so basically we summon Abramar to find a new way of doing divination, and that's where the custom deck comes from. He helps us to make it. Bear in mind that these tasks will take between 3 and 5 cycles each, so plan accordingly. Oh god, this has just become a resource management game. What's she been doing for 200 years that she's not been allowed? She's not been allowed to see anyone. She did a lot of reading. She did a lot of very bad stuff out of loneliness, but she put herself back together. Yeah, she basically did go insane. She summoned a behemoth, and that was only after 200 years. Imagine what 1,000 years would do to you. No contact with anyone from the outside world. She's still technically exiled, but the rules of her exile have changed that she can now have visitors. Understood. But wait, what do I do while you're all out? Do your homework. Do some studying, make some cards, or jerk off to relieve the pressure. Patrice! What? It works, trust me. Always so gross. As the race progresses, you'll have to meet some prospective allies or even rivals here in this office. So don't worry. I don't think you'll get much idle time. Okay. Everyone ready? Any doubts? Why can't we put kill all elders in the manifesto? I don't know. I mean, Adana's dead, and she's the one who exiled us. It was like her decision, so let's conquer all. Well, rather than conquer, let's have our sisters put their trust in us. Yes, of course, it was a figure of speech. Okay, we can never be too safe with you. Hehe. Oh, I almost forgot. I've got something for you, Fortuna. Ooh. Love, the support of my friends. Oh, great, okay. So at the beginning of the game, we decided on four gifts that Abramar would give us in exchange for, like, part of our life. And that was the second one. The first one was knowledge. We have a, third eye. Okay. Remember those articles on the Cosmic Gazette you dislike so much? Like 12 objects of power that will make your life easier. Well, as it happens, number 5 will shock you. Here. A sympathy stone. It's a special object of power that will amplify the efforts of whoever's trying to help you. Oh, wow, thank you, Patrice. Just wet a brush with some freshly brewed sage infusion and write down the names of your allies on it. I'll do it immediately. I love it. Thank you. I got you. So basically, this charm will render the tasks you assign us more effective. Got it. Anyway, let's get to work. It's not entirely clear what we traded. Abramar kind of was just like, I'll take my payment at some point. So I am slightly concerned about what will happen when we get to the 4th thing. But it's going well so far. Let's make sure we all have a task and get this ball rolling. Stay motivated. Alright, tasks. Okay. So, these are the current projections. We have 25% of the vote. Dahlia is currently winning. Jasmine's only a little bit behind. Compressor is not doing super well. Novices are split evenly between Dahlia and Jasmine, and aren't super into our thing, which isn't great. Producers. I think producers are people like Jasmine who like grow stuff. So because they would have been under the most pressure, the freedom and trust thing probably appealed to them quite well. Warriors, obviously. Okay, the warriors, we're probably never going to be able to swing them. They all want to vote for Dahlia because she is a warrior witch. The explorers, also mostly for Dahlia. Academics, mostly for Jasmine. Oracles, mostly for us because we're also an oracle to an extent. Okay, so we can see everyone's programs. That's pretty cool. Very cool tool. Okay. Let's give Abramar a task. I'd like you to... I think now that we have this like ally stone, I would like to have another ally. I'll comb the cosmos and see what I can find. Okay. And I would like Patrice to promote our program. Let's focus our efforts on... I think novices we weren't doing very well with, so let's try novices. Okay, I'll do my best. I'll be back in a few cycles. Okay. And then I have a visitor. Oh, this is Compressor. Okay. I think before we speak to Compressor, I have the option to study, which is what the bed is. I think I want to make a new card. And then, I don't know, I might go for a little longer and then cool the stream, just because my voice is going. So this is our current deck of cards that we have made. You get to basically pick a background, pick a main character, and then pick an extra element, combine them all together, and it like generates the story for you and the meanings based on what the individual elements have. These are the cards we have so far. I like this one a lot. I also like Gears of War. It came out really cool. We didn't make this one. Whoa! Battle and fire, battle and water, battle and air, community and fire. That's so cool! That I can know all of the outcomes. Okay. Time to make a new card. I have a lot of earth and water, so I could try and make something that focuses on that. There's the Moonstone Temple. I've made a card with the Moonstone Temple before. could study it. O ancient eye of our former leader, allow me to pierce through the fabric of this magic. I desire to know more. Okay, so this one has strength, support, determination, and resilience. So we can try and build a card around that. Strength, support, determination, and resilience. This guy scares me. I would like to know more about the wolf mother and children. Okay, so protection and community. The identity and volition of a group of individuals. Protection, resistance to change, safekeeping the sacred. That could be interesting. And then something to go with the wolf mother. I want to do something watery and earthy. Swordfish liqueur. Emotion, intuition, substance, and truth. No. I'm fairly certain this will just be like strength and stability, so I quite like the iron golem. And I don't feel the need to study it. Okay, where would be good to stage this? I guess outside the temple. We can speak to Compressor and see what that, if we have the option to relentlessly mock her. Okay, let's build a golem. Move the wolf mother and her baby sheep, question mark? I don't know, what is this body part? I don't understand how I make legs out of this. Is this the legs? Oh yeah, these are the legs, okay. He's just a silly little guy. I want to give him... That's too big. I want to give him space buttons made of rocks. And now he has space buns made of rocks. Fun little bear guy. And then the wolf mother and her baby. This one can be sleeping down here. This one's just sat here with the golem. This one's prancing down the stairs. It's not my most creative card, but we'll see what this gets us. Traditional schooling. The Moonstone Temple is a gateway to illumination, a figure of protection and support. The Iron Golem is powered by sheer determination. Excessive earth energy can lead to immobility. Guardian, ego, support, success, indifference, and stagnation. Nice. New card. Let's go speak to Cupressa. Witch Fortuna. I would like to formally introduce myself before the race. There are some topics I am interested in discussing with you regarding the nature of the political shift our coven is about to experience. Kind regards, Cupressa, the historian witch. Ooh. She's just like petals on the wind. Oh, she's so pretty. Hello. I am Cupressa. Nice to meet you. No, I'm not going to burn her, Dean. I'm Fortuna. Nice to meet you, too. Thanks for having me. I wanted to introduce myself formally before the race became hectic. That's so kind of you. I'm sorry that you had to come all the way here. There are still 800 years of exile left in the sentence Adana cast over me. I'm well aware. Adana often confided in me. The fear you inspired in her was one of her greatest weaknesses. Oh wow. I don't know how to feel about that. That makes two of us. That's the main reason I decided to pay you a visit. To keep me in check? To form my own judgment. I promise, don't be so harsh. I'm nice, I promise. Don't sell yourself short. I can sense it. You're not just nice. You're also powerful and intelligent. Maybe Adana wasn't scared as much as threatened. You certainly carry the presence of those who know fate is in their hands. Knowing this, I must ask you and your team to retire from the race. Oh, okay. Haha, nice strategy. I didn't say that in jest. You are too close to your human side to properly govern a cosmic coven. That's what made Adana such a great leader. She had a direct channel of communication with the gods and was far detached from her human origins. Can we go back to your idea? Yeah, maybe. On the other hand, you, Dahlia, and Jasmine, you have an uncountable number of human flaws. Fear, pride, envy, greed. Dahlia's not even human. Or, she might be human, but she's not from Earth. Even what you consider virtues, such as ambition or mercy, or even the most basic things, such as the need for comfort or enjoyment, cloud your judgment. Flaws, flaws, flaws. Wow. But without feelings, can you truly care for your peers? There are many beings in this universe that are better suited for leadership than your kind precisely because of this lack of human feelings. Have you ever stopped to study the flora? Most witches are too fauna-centric to see other forms of coexistence. As a tree, my entelechy is that of growth and community. I lack individuality. I'm just part of the forest. We, the plants, grow, expand, and nurture all around us. Cupressa, you're polling at 11%. Pipe down and make yourself into a table. Damn, Dean! The majority of us don't need to feed on other living beings to prosper. That basic fact alters our whole perception of reality. Human existence is so built on top of sacrifice that you are immune to innumerable forms of brutality. You are a devourer of worlds, and we, the plants, are their healers. I'm going to take care of you no matter how you treat me. Let me ask you a question. What's the most important quality in a leader? Cupressa is gender goals. I mean, she seems like a bit of a bitch, but design-wise, beautiful. Just don't become an asshole as part of your transition. I don't know, what is the most important quality in a leader? Intelligence, selflessness, empathy, charisma, or integrity? I think integrity is pretty important. Sticking to what you said you would do in the first place. You can be a tree, babe. I reject the notion any of these are individually the most... Exactly, you have to have like a good mix of things. I think integrity is pretty important in terms of like sticking to the things that you said you would do. And empathy is obviously important. Intelligence is obviously important. charisma to an extent is important, but also if you have people in your life that can do the charisma stuff for you. And we've already established earlier in the game that all witches have Riz, so I'm gonna go with integrity. Oh, I know what you mean, but in all the millennia I've been around, I found it to be quite the idealistic concept. What is integrity? Is it to have strong moral values? But how are those values defined to begin with? Does integrity respond to the values of the community or those of the individual? What happens when those values conflict with someone else's? I've seen integrity defined over and over again, both inside and outside this coven. There is one other quality that's always immutable and true, though. Selflessness. That's the most important trait in a leader. To put the group's needs before your own. And even if you invented the word, humans aren't capable of it. Oof. See, she says all this stuff, but she's sticking to Adana's, like, program, and that's not exactly the most, like, selfless and, like, community-based program of all of them. All those emotions we talked about before, they're what make it impossible. Satisfaction, respect, honor, friendship, the list is endless. Humans are capable of selfless actions, but not of selfless existences. A leader deprived of all that is just an automata. You're right, but I still want to lead. Or are you implying that humans should never lead? Like, again, if we're capable of never being selfless, fair enough. But if we're capable of doing selfless actions, then surely that is enough in terms of a leader, right? Are you implying that humans should never lead? When avoidable, yes. On Earth, they don't have much choice, with all sentient life being underdeveloped besides them. But here, we have gods, we have dear folk, you have me. What if I don't want to be ruled? What if I don't agree with what allegedly superior beings have devised for me? I want to create a world closer to my vision. Isn't that egotistical? I mean, kind of. But also, I want to have some self-determination in this life. I'm genuinely trying to do what's best. How naive. Wishing to be right doesn't make it so. Probably. I'm afraid that in the end it all boils down to what each of us wants. You may be right about that. Listen, Keypresser. I don't want to look into actually it might be beneficial, and she did just completely like tear us a new one, so let's have a look. What's this buried emotion? What's the matter? Oh. Okay, well that makes sense as to why she wants to maintain Adana's vision. I don't want to call her out on that. I think that's unfair. Poor Keypresser. I won't bother her about it. So much for selfless. Oh, you're right. Okay, maybe I'll call her out on it then, guys. Alright, sure. I know that you're in love with Adana. That is nonsense. Doesn't that conflict with the selflessness you were talking about? It sounds like a liability for the kind of leadership you're proposing, especially if she wants to keep Adana's corpse around so that she can confide in her. Stop being nice, drag her. I'm sorry. I'm just aware of how big of a loss it is for our coven that Adana died. Maybe you are mistaking that for love. Deforest this wench, no! No, you love her, romantically. She gave me her eyes, I can see through you. Oh wow, that's why your program includes keeping her corpse intact. Please, don't say anything. I'm trying to purge this emotion from myself, but I still haven't worked out how to. This has nothing to do with the race. Please, keep it between us. Oh. I don't know. Do our sisters need to be aware of this? I think they kind of do, given that such a big part of her program is, like, keeping Adana's corpse around. I don't want to blackmail her, but I do think that maybe we should make people aware of this. Oh, everything feels terrible. All of these decisions feel terrible. Like, she's already losing the race, but she might... Like, Patrice thinks she's a sort of dark horse, so... If I can keep her down in the rankings... Our sisters must be made aware of this. Do as you must. I guess it would be hypocritical of me to hide my feelings. Yeah, it kind of would be. My priority is the coven. It'd be selfish of me to keep this from the others. I think it's time for me to leave now. Would you like me to read your fortune? Would you do that for an opponent? Of course, my priority is to help the coven. Hehehe. Insight. 11% would give us what we need to win. Very well, let's see what fortune has in store for me. Okay, so even though she was in love with Adana, she doesn't know that we write the future. Tell me what it is you wish to ask the cards. There is only one thing on my mind, something really dear to me. Will I be able to safeguard Adana's legacy? Of all the eras I've lived through, Adana's has been the most peaceful and prosperous. At the expense of some of her sisters, but sure. Please don't poison the reading with your resentment. That's improper of an oracle. You're right. I will focus on your honest will. Think about Adana while I shuffle my deck. Victory Road. We walk the road alone for everyone to see. A grand display of leadership. The cloth speaks of courage. The mirror dispels what isn't true. Okay. The coven will respect Adana's contributions, but as time passes, it'll inevitably progress towards new ideas. No, but you will make peace with it and find new forms of happiness. You will steal one of Adana's masks and drop out of the race. You will leave the coven and start a cult to follow the mask's whisperers. Yes, many witches will follow Adana's philosophy, even if it's not the official rule anymore. However, you will pay a high price to keep her legacy alive. This one's fun, because it's like... eliminates one of our opponents immediately. But I like this one as well. In that's like, no, you won't preserve her legacy. This also suggests that she wouldn't win the race, because to preserve her legacy, she'd need to win the race. I tend to go with the more emotional answers. This is chaotic as hell. Was Adana not human? I don't know. I feel like she used to be human, but she ascended such a long time ago that maybe Kupressa has like overlooked that. I don't like this one. That's just kind of meh. So it's either you won't be able to keep it alive and you'll find new forms of happiness, or you will start a cult. Let's Yeah, the cult one feels a bit mean, and also could backfire. We're going to humiliate her already. That's true. Okay. You won't be able to keep her legacy alive, but you'll make peace with it and find new forms of happiness. Feels wrong given the nature of your powers. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to turn her into a laughing stock. Okay. What's up? Happiness is always good news, isn't it? Happiness means nothing to me. What I want is Freydana's work to be eternal. Nothing is eternal. I know. I knew this endeavour was meaningless from the moment I set out to do it. But still, I needed to try. Will you give up now? No, even if it's just the tiniest fraction, keeping some of Adana's legacy alive is priceless. I see. Okay, so that didn't make her drop. At least, not right now. Thank you for allowing me to peek into the future, Fortuna. Although that does suggest that if she won't be able to keep it alive, so that she won't win. And thanks for having me at your home. Good luck with the race. Good luck to you too. Oh, Patrice is back. Reporting on promoting the program among novices. I went and tried to put those novices in their place, but they're not ready to see sense yet. Okay, I think it's best we have you focus on a different demographic. I'm sorry. Okay. So the novices don't want anything to do with us. The producers are like kind of on our side. So we could try and convince the producers. Promote our program. My voice is going. So I'm gonna see if I can like do a study or a sleep. So that I can get it to save. And then I might call it there. Okay. I could read the demographic analysis. Demographic, novices. The freshly ascended, witches in training that still haven't found their calling. Though bear in mind how time works in this immortal society. Some novices find their place in the first few years, but some others may take decades. You don't need the approval of anyone to stop being a novice and join the ranks of the producers, academics, or explorers. On the other hand, warriors require tests first, and to become an oracle, as you're well aware, another oracle needs to dream about you. Strategy guide. The novices are usually pushed around by the rest of the witches, so they welcome any initiative that increases their rights and opportunities. Okay. Study. On the Four Elements, Air, by Witch Eugenia. In all my years of mentoring, air, the invisible element, is the one I found most students have difficulty understanding. Its intangible nature locks it in the world of ideas. How do you define context? Is it an infinite element? It is an infinite element that expands as far as your thought wishes to take it. For a true master of air, there is no such thing as out of context. Everything is intertwined and in constant relation. A river in the middle of the jungle can put in context the nature of an office worker. A philosopher's talent can be measured in their ability to develop context to engulf all things. Ironically, the overabundance of air energy sabotages rational thinking and breeds chaos, because chaos is the ultimate nature of air, everything affecting everything. Throw a paper boat into a bucket of water and you can predict its behaviour. Throw 1,000 into the middle of a wild ocean and the mind begins to falter when trying to picture the outcome. If you combine multiple energies of air, you will obtain unpredictability, luck, and fortune. Unfathomable predestination. Okay, I'm gonna have a sleep. dream about. You are old and surrounded by 11 kids. They're all orphans from different planets that you decided to adopt. You are teaching them to play a very complex board game about witchcraft. All of them fall asleep mid-explanation, and you feel disappointed. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to hang out on stream today. Congratulations to our giveaway winners, and thank you very much, Evelyn, for your donation. It's been really great. This is just the beginning of our fundraising program, so make sure to check out our Twitch schedule to see when we're streaming next. So yeah, thank you, everyone. If you're able to share the fundraiser link and also share the stream schedule around so that people come, that would be super great. And I will see you next time. Bye!